Why are we here? Why do we work so hard? Strive to impress others only to face death one day. These big why questions arise in the minds of thousands, especially for those who aren't religious. Albert Camus put it beautifully. Rising, streetcar, 4 hours in the office or the factory, meal, streetcar, 4 hours of work, meal, sleep, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, according to the same rhythm. This path is easily followed most of the time, but one day the why arises, and everything begins in that weariness, tinged with amazement. Back in history, people were generally more religious, and that brought them a certain comfort. For them, one huge question was already answered, the question of existence. Faith offered answers to life's biggest questions, providing comfort through divine purpose. Whether rich or poor, healthy or sick, people clung to the hope of meeting their Maker, believing their struggles served a higher plan. But modernity shifted the paradigm. Scientific breakthroughs like Darwin's theory of evolution challenged traditional beliefs, replacing spiritual certainty with rational inquiry. As Nietzsche famously declared, God is dead, signaling not the literal death of a deity, but the decline of faith-based meaning. This left many adrift, searching for something, anything, to fill the void. Yet, what if the absence of inherent meaning isn't a curse, but an opportunity? What if the universe's silence doesn't demand despair, but invites us to create our own answers? This tension between humanity's longing for significance and the cosmos' indifference lies at the heart of Camus' philosophy of absurdism. Rather than succumbing to nihilism or clinging to outdated doctrines, we're called to embrace the absurdity of existence and find joy within it. The journey begins by confronting the eternal question head-on, unafraid of its implications. Continue. For centuries, religion provided humanity with a comforting framework to answer life's biggest questions. People found solace in the belief that their struggles served a divine purpose, culminating in meeting their Maker after death. This sense of cosmic order gave meaning to both joy and suffering, offering a clear path toward eternal fulfillment. However, as modernity advanced, cracks began to form in this foundation. Scientific discoveries like Darwin's theory of evolution challenged traditional narratives, suggesting that humans were not divinely crafted, but products of natural selection. The Big Bang Theory further dismantled the idea of a universe designed with humanity at its center. Friedrich Nietzsche foresaw this shift when he declared, "God is dead," observing Europe's declining connection to faith. He wasn't celebrating or mourning, he was diagnosing a cultural crisis. As science replaced scripture, people lost more than religious doctrine. They lost their anchor. Without God, many turned to nihilism, believing life had no inherent purpose. This void left individuals grappling with despair, anxiety, and existential dread. Yet amidst this chaos, thinkers like Albert Camus emerged, proposing absurdism as an alternative. Rather than clinging to outdated beliefs or succumbing to nihilism, Camus encouraged embracing life's meaninglessness as freedom. By accepting the universe's indifference, we unlock the power to create our own meaning. This transition, from divine purpose to self-determined significance, marks one of humanity's most profound philosophical shifts. When the comforting answers of religion dissolve and science leaves us staring into an indifferent universe, many turn to nihilism, the belief that life has no inherent purpose. For some, this realization is liberating. For others, it's devastating. Nihilism strips away illusions, revealing a world devoid of cosmic significance or ultimate meaning. While it may seem like a logical conclusion in a godless universe, its psychological toll can be severe. Depression, anxiety, and existential dread often follow when people confront the void left by abandoned beliefs. Rising suicide rates and widespread mental health crises underscore the dangers of unchecked nihilism. Without something to anchor our existence, life can feel hollow, pointless, and unbearable. Camus recognized this peril, but rejected nihilism as a dead end. He understood that while life might lack inherent meaning, humans are wired to seek fulfillment. To succumb to nihilism is to deny this fundamental drive, leaving us trapped in despair. Instead, Camus proposed absurdism, a philosophy that acknowledges life's meaninglessness without surrendering to hopelessness. Absurdism invites us to embrace the tension between humanity's longing for purpose and the universe's silence. It challenges us to live fully despite the absurdity, finding joy in the struggle itself. Consider Sisyphus, condemned to roll his boulder endlessly uphill. Most would pity him, seeing only futility. But Camus imagined Sisyphus happy, not because his task had meaning, but because he accepted its pointlessness and chose to endure with defiance. This perspective transforms suffering into resilience. By rejecting nihilism, we reclaim agency over our lives. We create personal meaning through relationships, passions, and acts of kindness. Even if the universe remains indifferent, we find satisfaction in what we build within it. Life's meaninglessness becomes not a curse but an opportunity to define our own purpose and live authentically. In doing so, we defy the void and rediscover joy. Albert Camus didn't just diagnose the human condition, he offered a way forward. His philosophy of absurdism emerged as a response to the existential crisis brought on by nihilism and the decline of religious certainty. At its core, absurdism acknowledges life's inherent meaninglessness but rejects despair as the only outcome. Instead, Camus invites us to embrace the tension between humanity's longing for purpose and the universe's indifferent silence, a confrontation he called the absurd. To illustrate this concept, Camus turned to an ancient Greek myth, the story of Sisyphus. Condemned by the gods to roll a boulder up a mountain, only for it to tumble back down each time, Sisyphus embodies endless struggle without reward. Most would see his punishment as futile, even tragic, yet Camus reimagines Sisyphus not as a victim, but as a hero, a symbol of defiance against life's inherent futility. He challenges us to imagine Sisyphus happy, finding joy in the act of pushing the boulder despite knowing it will never stay atop the mountain. This reframing transforms suffering into resilience and futility into freedom. For Camus, the absurd arises when we confront the unresolvable contradiction between our need for meaning and the universe's lack of answers. Life is chaotic, unpredictable, and ultimately indifferent to our desires. But instead of succumbing to nihilism or clinging to false beliefs, Camus advocates rebellion through acceptance. By fully embracing the absurd, we reclaim agency over our lives. We stop waiting for external validation or cosmic approval and begin creating our own meaning. This shift in perspective liberates us from societal pressures and self-imposed limitations. It allows us to live authentically, focusing on what truly matters rather than chasing illusions of permanence or perfection. Camus reminds us that happiness doesn't come from resolving life's contradictions. It comes from accepting them. The absurd isn't something to overcome, it's something to engage with fully. In doing so, we discover a profound sense of freedom, the freedom to define our own purpose, pursue our passions, and find joy in the struggle itself. Through absurdism, Camus teaches us to thrive in a world that refuses to make sense. Camus's philosophy of absurdism offers a radical yet liberating path forward, embracing life's meaninglessness as a source of freedom. When we fully accept that the universe is indifferent to our existence, we are no longer bound by the need for cosmic validation or societal approval. This realization is transformative. It shifts our focus from external expectations to internal fulfillment. Instead of chasing success, wealth, or recognition to impress others, we begin living for ourselves. The question shifts from "What does the world want from me?" to "What do I want from life?" Consider Sisyphus once more. His task, pushing a boulder uphill only for it to roll back down, is undeniably futile. Yet Camus imagines him happy because he has accepted his situation and chosen to endure with defiance. In doing so, Sisyphus reclaims control over his attitude toward life. He finds joy not in completing the task, but in the act of pushing itself. Similarly, when we stop obsessing over outcomes and start valuing the process, we unlock a profound sense of liberation. Life becomes less about achieving perfection and more about savoring each moment. The laughter shared with friends, the warmth of sunlight on your face, the simple pleasure of a morning coffee. This mindset also helps us break free from paralyzing fears like failure or judgment. If nothing truly matters in the grand scheme, why worry about what others think? Why let fear dictate your choices? Absurdism encourages us to adopt phrases like, "Who cares?" and "Why not?" These aren't dismissive statements. They're tools for empowerment. They remind us that life's meaninglessness removes limits. It opens doors instead of closing them. Want to start a business? Why not? Scared to ask someone out? So, what if they say no? Each small rebellion against societal pressures strengthens our resilience. Ultimately, embracing the absurd isn't about giving up. It's about creating your own meaning. By accepting life's inherent chaos, you gain the freedom to define what matters most to you. Whether through relationships, passions, or acts of kindness, you can fill your days with purpose, even if that purpose exists solely within your heart. In this way, absurdism doesn't diminish life's beauty, it amplifies it. It teaches us to live boldly, authentically, and unapologetically, finding joy in the struggle itself. Camus' reinterpretation of Sisyphus offers a profound lesson for navigating the monotony of modern life. Like Sisyphus, condemned to roll his boulder endlessly uphill, many of us feel trapped in cycles of repetitive tasks, waking up, commuting, working, eating, sleeping, and repeating. At first glance, this routine seems dull, even oppressive. Yet, Camus challenges us to see beauty in the struggle itself, urging us to embrace the act of pushing rather than fixating on the outcome. This perspective transforms our daily grind from a source of frustration into an opportunity for fulfillment. Consider your own life. Monday brings deadlines, Tuesday demands more effort, Wednesday through Friday follow suit. Even when you achieve success, a promotion, a new home, you quickly find another rock to push. Society conditions us to chase bigger and better goals, but Camus reminds us that happiness doesn't lie at the top of the mountain. It's found in the journey. When we stop obsessing over results and focus on the process, life becomes lighter, freer, and more enjoyable. Mindfulness plays a crucial role here. Instead of rushing through mundane activities, try savoring them. Feel the warmth of your morning coffee, notice the rhythm of your footsteps during a walk, or appreciate the quiet moments before bed. These small joys anchor us in the present, breaking the illusion that life only matters when it's extraordinary. Gratitude also helps reframe monotony. Rather than resenting repetitive tasks, acknowledge their purpose, whether it's providing stability, supporting loved ones, or building skills. Creativity can further transform routine into something meaningful. Turn chores into games, experiment with new approaches to old habits, or use downtime to explore hobbies. By injecting novelty into repetition, you reclaim agency over your days. Remember, Sisyphus didn't despair because he accepted his task. He endured with defiance and joy. Similarly, we can choose to face our routines not as burdens, but as opportunities to create personal meaning. Life's monotony need not crush us. It can inspire resilience, creativity, and contentment if we let it. If life lacks inherent meaning, then the responsibility falls on us to create it. This is where absurdism transcends nihilism, offering a path forward instead of resignation. Camus teaches us that while the universe remains indifferent, humans are wired to seek fulfillment. The void left by religion or science doesn't have to consume us. It can inspire us to build something uniquely ours. Personal meaning isn't universal. It's deeply individual, shaped by passions, relationships, and contributions that resonate with who we are. Consider your own life. What brings you joy? Is it painting, writing, teaching, or helping others? Perhaps it's building a family, fostering connections, or pursuing a dream that lights up your soul. These acts don't need cosmic approval to matter. They matter because they enrich your existence. By embracing this mindset, you transform everyday actions into sources of purpose. Even small gestures, a kind word, a shared meal, a creative project, can fill the void with warmth and significance. Creating personal meaning also means rejecting societal pressures. Social media bombards us with curated perfection, urging us to chase wealth, fame, or validation. But these external markers rarely lead to lasting fulfillment. Instead, ask yourself, what truly aligns with my values? Who do I want to be in this world? When you stop measuring success by society's standards and start defining it for yourself, life becomes lighter, freer, and more authentic. Camus reminds us that suffering and struggle are inevitable, but they don't define us. Our response does. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to reaffirm what matters most. Lost your job? Use it as a chance to pivot toward something new. Failed at a passion project? Celebrate the courage it took to try. Aging or illness may remind us of life's impermanence, but they also highlight its beauty. By focusing on what we can control, the present moment, our attitude, our choices, we defy the void and carve out meaning despite chaos. Ultimately, absurdism empowers us to live boldly. It invites us to experiment, take risks, and embrace uncertainty. Why not travel somewhere unfamiliar? Why not learn a skill just for fun? Each step forward defies the silence of the universe, proving that even in a meaningless world, we can craft lives rich with purpose. In doing so, we honor our humanity, not by finding answers, but by creating them. Write 250 words for Chapter 8. Albert Camus' philosophy of absurdism wasn't born in a vacuum. It was shaped by his own struggles. Born into poverty in colonial Algeria, Camus faced hardship from the start. His father died in World War I when Camus was just an infant, leaving him to be raised by his illiterate and deaf mother under dire conditions. These early challenges instilled in him a deep sensitivity to human suffering and social injustice, themes that would later permeate his work. Tuberculosis, which plagued him throughout his life, forced frequent isolation and reminded him constantly of mortality. Yet, instead of succumbing to despair, Camus channeled these experiences into resilience, using them as fuel for his exploration of existential questions. Camus saw suffering not as something to escape, but as an integral part of existence. In the myth of Sisyphus, he argued that life is defined by struggle, a ceaseless push against obstacles, much like Sisyphus rolling his boulder uphill. What matters isn't whether we succeed or fail, but how we respond to adversity. For Camus, happiness arises not from avoiding pain, but from embracing it with courage and defiance. This perspective allowed him to find joy even amid chaos, whether battling illness or confronting moral dilemmas during wartime. His commitment to humanity extended beyond philosophy. During World War II, Camus joined the French resistance, risking his life to fight fascism. He believed that while life may lack inherent meaning, individuals could create purpose through acts of compassion and justice. Even as he grappled with the horrors of war and the Algerian conflict, Camus remained steadfast in his belief that kindness and solidarity matter, not because they guarantee outcomes, but because they affirm our shared humanity. These lessons resonate deeply today. Modern life is rife with challenges, economic uncertainty, mental health crises, global unrest, but Camus teaches us to face them head-on. By accepting suffering as inevitable, yet refusing to let it define us, we cultivate resilience. We learn to cherish fleeting moments of beauty, build meaningful connections, and contribute to causes greater than ourselves. Like Camus, we can transform personal struggles into sources of strength, finding freedom in the act of enduring. After all, true rebellion lies not in denying pain, but in choosing to live fully despite it. The paralyzing fear of making the wrong choice. What if I fail? Or what if this isn't the best path? Is one of life's most pervasive traps. It keeps us stuck in analysis paralysis, afraid to take risks or commit to decisions. But Camus offers a liberating antidote. Let go of perfection altogether. In a world devoid of inherent meaning, there's no cosmic scorekeeper judging your every move. Every decision is equally arbitrary because nothing truly matters in the grand scheme. This realization doesn't diminish the importance of our choices. Instead, it frees us from the burden of overthinking them. Consider how often we delay happiness, waiting for the perfect moment, a better job, a bigger house, a more stable relationship. Yet these milestones rarely bring lasting fulfillment, because they're followed by new rocks to push. The pursuit of perfection becomes an endless cycle, mirroring Sisyphus's futile task. Instead of striving for unattainable ideals, Camus encourages us to embrace imperfection and focus on the present. Did you lose your job? Who cares? Another opportunity will arise. Failed at a project? So what? Failure is just part of the process. By releasing the need for certainty, we unlock creativity, resilience, and joy. This mindset also challenges societal pressures that equate success with flawlessness. Social media amplifies this myth, showcasing curated highlight reels while hiding struggles. Camus would laugh at such pretense. He'd remind us that chasing external validation only deepens anxiety. True freedom comes when we stop obsessing over others' opinions and start defining success on our own terms. Letting go of what if doesn't mean abandoning ambition. It means pursuing goals without attachment to outcomes. Whether starting a business, learning a skill, or traveling solo, the act of trying itself enriches life. Each misstep teaches something valuable. Each detour reveals unexpected beauty. As Camus reminds us, happiness isn't found in perfection, but in embracing life's chaos. When we release the myth of perfection, we step into a world of infinite possibility, a place where failure loses its sting and courage takes center stage. After all, why worry about being perfect when the universe doesn't care either way? Camus' philosophy of absurdism isn't about surrendering to life's meaninglessness. It's about rebelling against it. When we fully accept that the universe is indifferent and existence lacks inherent purpose, we're no longer shackled by societal expectations or cosmic obligations. This realization transforms our perspective, freeing us to live boldly and authentically. Rebellion, in this sense, doesn't mean fighting external forces, but defying despair itself. It's a conscious choice to embrace happiness despite knowing that life makes no sense. Consider Sisyphus again. His punishment, rolling a boulder uphill only for it to tumble back down, is often seen as futile suffering. Yet Camus imagines him happy because he chooses to endure with defiance. Each time Sisyphus walks back down the mountain, he acknowledges his fate but refuses to let it break him. In doing so, he reclaims control over his attitude toward life. Similarly, when we face setbacks, a lost job, a failed relationship, or unmet goals, we can respond not with resignation, but with resilience. By choosing joy even amid chaos, we assert our freedom and reject fate's grip on our spirits. This rebellion extends beyond personal struggles to societal pressures. Social media bombards us with curated perfection, urging us to chase wealth, fame, or validation. But why should we conform? Who cares if your startup fails or you don't meet someone else's standards? Every so what becomes an act of resistance, a declaration that you won't let arbitrary metrics dictate your worth. True power lies in defining success on your own terms, whether through creativity, kindness, or connection. Living rebelliously also means embracing imperfection and uncertainty. Aging, illness, and loss remind us of life's fragility, yet they also highlight its beauty. Instead of fearing these inevitabilities, absurdism teaches us to cherish fleeting moments, the warmth of sunlight, laughter shared with loved ones, or the quiet satisfaction of a task completed. These small joys become acts of defiance against despair. Ultimately, rebellion against fate is about agency. The universe may remain silent, but we are free to fill the void with meaning. Whether through passion projects, meaningful relationships, or simply savoring daily pleasures, we create purpose where none existed before. In choosing happiness anyway, we win the absurd game, not because we've found answers, but because we've embraced the questions. Camus' philosophy of absurdism transforms the seemingly hopeless question of life's meaninglessness into a liberating mantra. Why not? This simple phrase becomes a gateway to freedom, creativity, and courage. When we accept that nothing inherently matters, we shed the fear of failure, judgment, or consequences. Suddenly, the world opens up. Every choice becomes an opportunity, every risk a chance to explore what could be rather than dwell on what should be. Consider the barriers we impose on ourselves: fear of rejection, perfectionism, societal expectations. These constraints vanish when viewed through the lens of absurdism. Why not start that business you've been dreaming about? Who cares if it fails? Failure is just another rock rolling down the mountain, a temporary setback in an endless cycle of effort and renewal. Why not ask someone out, even if they might say no? Rejection doesn't diminish your worth. It simply reflects the randomness of existence. Each why not strips away layers of hesitation, revealing a life unburdened by overthinking. This mindset also challenges us to break free from conformity. Society often dictates how we should live, buying homes, climbing corporate ladders, adhering to rigid timelines for success. But why follow these scripts? If life lacks inherent purpose, then chasing predefined milestones feels hollow. Instead, absurdism invites us to craft our own paths. Travel without a plan, learn a skill purely for joy, or pursue unconventional passions. By embracing uncertainty, we discover beauty in spontaneity and growth in discomfort. Even aging, loss, and impermanence lose their sting under this perspective. Why not embrace wrinkles as badges of resilience? Why not cherish fleeting moments instead of clinging to permanence? Absurdism teaches us to find fulfillment in the act of living itself, not in outcomes, but in experiences. Ultimately, why? Not isn't reckless abandon, it's radical self-empowerment. It reminds us that while the universe remains silent, we hold the power to create meaning. Every decision, no matter how small, becomes an act of rebellion against despair. In saying why not, we defy fate, reclaim agency, and unlock infinite possibilities. After all, if nothing truly matters, then everything is possible. And that's where true freedom begins. Social media has become a modern-day Sisyphean boulder, rolling endlessly uphill as we chase likes, followers, and curated perfection. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn amplify societal pressures, urging us to present idealized versions of ourselves while measuring our worth through external validation. Yet absurdism offers a powerful antidote. Who cares? Albert Camus would likely laugh at how seriously we take these digital metrics, seeing them for what they are, rocks we've chosen to push up mountains of our own making. Consider the endless cycle. Post, refresh, check notifications, repeat. Each scroll becomes another futile attempt to fill the void left by life's inherent meaninglessness. But here's the twist. Social media itself thrives on absurdity. Algorithms reward superficial engagement over genuine connection, creating a system where authenticity is often penalized. Camus reminds us that true freedom comes when we stop caring about these arbitrary markers of success. Did your photo get fewer likes than expected? So what? Someone criticized your opinion online? Who cares? These reactions don't define you. They're just echoes in an indifferent universe. Absurdism invites us to break free from this performative treadmill. Instead of obsessing over follower counts or comparing ourselves to influencers, we can reclaim agency by focusing on what truly matters: real-world relationships, personal passions, and moments of joy untouched by screens. Why waste energy crafting a perfect post when you could be savoring coffee with a friend or exploring nature unplugged? By embracing absurdism, we recognize that social media's rules are meaningless. They exist only because we give them power. This mindset also encourages creative rebellion. Use platforms not to conform, but to express yourself authentically, without fear of judgment. Share ideas that challenge norms, celebrate imperfection, and inspire others to question their own rocks. Each defiant act chips away at the illusion of validation, replacing it with something far more fulfilling: self-acceptance. Ultimately, absurdism teaches us to view social media as a tool, not a tyrant. When we detach from its pressures, we find freedom, not in escaping technology, but in using it intentionally. Life's meaninglessness strips away the need for approval, leaving room for genuine connection and purpose. After all, why let pixels dictate your happiness when the universe already doesn't care? Aging, loss, and impermanence are among life's most universal truths, yet they often evoke fear and resistance. Camus' philosophy of absurdism offers a refreshing perspective. Instead of fearing these inevitabilities, we can embrace them as integral parts of existence. Life's fleeting nature is not a flaw, it's what makes it precious. By accepting transience, we learn to savor each moment rather than clinging to illusions of permanence. Consider aging, a process many dread due to societal pressures to stay youthful and productive. Yet absurdism teaches us to see wrinkles and gray hair not as signs of decline, but as markers of resilience. Each line on your face tells a story of laughter, struggle, and growth. Why fight against something so natural? Instead, celebrate the privilege of growing older. It means you've lived another day in a world where nothing is guaranteed. Loss, too, becomes less daunting through this lens. Whether it's the death of a loved one, the end of a relationship, or the fading of a dream, loss reminds us that nothing lasts forever. This awareness can deepen our appreciation for what we still have. When we stop taking people and experiences for granted, we begin cherishing them more fully. Absurdism encourages us to focus on the present, finding joy in fleeting connections and moments of beauty. Even death itself loses its sting when viewed through absurdism. Camus saw mortality not as an enemy, but as a reminder to live authentically. Knowing life is finite pushes us to take risks, pursue passions, and build meaningful relationships. Why waste time chasing superficial goals when every breath is a gift? This mindset transforms suffering into gratitude. Instead of lamenting life's brevity, we revel in its richness. Aging becomes a testament to survival. Loss becomes a call to cherish the now. Impermanence becomes a source of wonder. As Camus reminds us, happiness arises not from avoiding pain, but from enduring with courage. By embracing life's transience, we defy despair and find freedom in the act of living fully. After all, if nothing truly matters, then everything, every smile, every sunset, every shared memory is worth celebrating. While absurdism offers a liberating framework for navigating life's meaninglessness, it is not without its limitations. Camus himself acknowledged that embracing the absurd doesn't provide all the answers. It simply equips us to live fully in a chaotic world. For some, this perspective may feel incomplete, leaving room to explore complementary approaches like faith, spirituality, or other philosophies. The key lies in integration rather than rejection. Faith, for instance, need not conflict with absurdism. Many find solace in religion not as an escape from life's questions, but as a source of inspiration and community. Belief systems can coexist with absurdism by serving as tools for personal meaning rather than absolute truths. Similarly, spiritual practices like meditation or mindfulness align with absurdism's emphasis on presence and acceptance. These traditions remind us to cherish the now, a sentiment Camus would applaud. Philosophical frameworks beyond absurdism also enrich our understanding. Existentialism, championed by thinkers like Sartre, encourages individuals to create their own essence through action. Stoicism teaches resilience in the face of adversity, echoing Camus' call to endure with defiance. Even Nietzsche's concept of the will to power resonates with absurdism's celebration of rebellion against despair. Ultimately, no single philosophy explains life entirely. Humans are complex beings who crave both freedom and connection, chaos and order, questioning and believing. Absurdism provides a foundation, an invitation to confront life's contradictions, but it shouldn't close doors to further exploration. By blending absurdism with faith, spirituality, or other ideas, we craft a richer tapestry of meaning. As Bruce Lee wisely advised, absorb what is useful, discard what isn't, and add what is uniquely yours. In doing so, we honor Camus' legacy, while transcending its boundaries, creating a life that feels authentically ours. Camus' philosophy of absurdism leaves us with a profound yet liberating truth. Life's meaninglessness is not a curse, but an opportunity. When we stop searching for cosmic answers or societal approval, we unlock the freedom to define our own purpose. The universe remains indifferent, but within that silence lies infinite potential. Every morning presents a blank page, a chance to write your story, push your rock, and find joy in the struggle itself. Sisyphus teaches us that happiness isn't found at the top of the mountain. It's discovered in the act of pushing. Similarly, fulfillment arises not from achieving perfection, but from embracing imperfection, taking risks, and living authentically. Whether through relationships, passions, or acts of kindness, we create meaning on our own terms. Aging, loss, and failure lose their sting when viewed as inevitable parts of existence, reminding us to cherish fleeting moments instead of clinging to permanence. Social media and societal pressures fade into irrelevance when we adopt Camus' "so what" attitude. Who cares about likes or status? These are just rocks we choose to push. True power comes from defying despair, choosing happiness despite chaos, and focusing on what truly matters: connection, creativity, and presence. Ultimately, absurdism invites us to live boldly, not because life demands it, but because we choose it. By accepting the void, we transform it into a canvas for creation. Real strength lies in enduring, experimenting, and finding beauty in the mundane. As Camus reminds us, one must imagine Sisyphus happy. So let go of the weight of expectation, embrace the absurdity, and step into the unknown. Your journey may lack inherent meaning, but it brims with possibility. Push forward, defy fate, and revel in the freedom to craft your own path. After all, in a meaningless world, the greatest rebellion is choosing to live fully anyway.